guys, welcome back to Wistful Woods Farm. I'm Erin, and I'm so glad that you're here for the first full garden tour of 2024. We've planted so many new flowers and hopefully have a better layout for our vegetable garden for this year. And with the soil amendments that we made last year, I can already see such a difference between last year and this year. So let's go take a look. This flower bed is absolutely shocked me. Last year we planted this, I'll have to look, something evening hibiscus in the center, the one with the dark foliage, something like dark night hibiscus. And I had planted the Russian sage and some daisies over here, and then these two catmint plants. Everything else we planted this year. So this spring we planted the double knockout rose, which was supposed to be pink, but turns out it decided to be red. And then some pink roses, 3 pink roses around, and then a Live and Easy orange rose over here, and then another America climbing rose so we can have an arbor there. Other than that, everything, so the dahlias were started from bulbs this spring. Everything else in this bed was started from seed, and I transplanted about 3-inch starts a month ago, and it is just filled in so beautifully. The plum tree has put on nice new growth. We have had quite a bit of June beetle damage. Then the black lace elderberries are growing so nicely. And then the corpse cart peonies that I planted from last year, one of them actually bloomed this year, but the other ones, they're all greened up really nicely. And then we have some echinacea and snapdragons that it got going. And then some more agastache and cosmos, and more snapdragons, some campion rose. The artemisia is supposed to help with pest problems, but this quick fire hydrangea has doubled in size in the last month. It makes me so happy. I am kind of sad that it didn't put on any bud. There are no buds. There's no blossoms this year. But it does look really healthy, and I'm really hopeful for next year. And the stunting could be because it had been planted and then moved and replanted. Here's the other side of that bed. And we've got calendula, artemisia, some snapdragons, more snapdragons, some campion roses. I did plant the Japanese maple that I'd been gifted in here. I think it'll really complement the other red foliage really well. But it's just filled in so incredibly well. And then we've got, I think these ones were Indian Summer Rudbeckia. No, they're not. These ones are Goldilocks Rudbeckia. All of these perennials we planted last year from seed, and they are already 3 feet tall. You can see the coreopsis needs to be deadheaded a little bit, but it was so full, and the butterflies just love it. And the pollinators are going crazy for all of this lamb's ear. And we planted everything from seed last year with the exception of this one snowball bush that was a single stem root cutting last spring. So we've got the snowball bush, we did plant the roses as a bush. We planted this new climbing America rose this spring. Creeping time, that one was a start. But then dianthus and the crazy daisies. The agastache isn't quite in yet, but the gara just started blooming. Some people call it whirling butterflies, because as the wind blows it, they flutter through the air. And then a Queenie salmon lime zinnia. And then blue panther catmint. And autumn sedum and pincushion flower. And then this one you can really see how it's called whirling butterflies, because as the wind would blow, all the little flowers flutter all around, and it's really pretty. And more echinacea, zinnias and cosmos, and dianthus that are dying off back there. More crazy daisies, some white swan echinacea. Pretty sure this is Perry's penstemon. I think that this was oregano. Maybe it was marjoram. It is neither, but it's something in the mint family. Anyway, I'll have to look up and see what this one was. I think it was a last minute planting. And then the lavender, we did plant this one from a start, but it's put off one blossom. The rhubarb sent up a seed stalk, and I'd read that it puts out more leaves if you cut the leaf stalk off, so that's what I did. And then this foliage is what's coming through. It really doesn't seem to be very happy in this spot, so this fall I may move it. I have to see how it does for the rest of the summer. And here is the vegetable garden. Last year we just had the 2 cattle panels on the long framed beds, and then 3 in the center. But because we changed the orientation of the beds were sloping down the hill, but we were losing all that water runoff. This year the beds are kind of like swales, so as the water goes down this slight slope, the straw and the beds will hopefully catch that water at each step down the hill. We won't lose all that water. It also allowed us to put the trellises back to back and fit 1 extra trellis in the center. So we do have, is it 8 trellises? Yeah, going down. We have 8 trellises going through the center of the garden. In this front bed, we've got some zinnias for the pollinators, some broccoli that we may or may not get anything from, some Yolo Wonder peppers, and then garlic around the outside. In this bed, so we had sweet magnolia peas, but I didn't have enough to really eat the peas, and so I wanted to grow some for seeds for next year. So, but now that these are all petered out, I can save all of those pods for seeds for next year's garden. And we started some peach Melba nasturtiums under these sunset runner beans, and some more over here. We seem to be liking the other bed better. So this bed has hillbilly and Arkansas Traveler tomatoes and Craig's Grande jalapenos. And on the other side, there's Tam jalapenos, serranos, and corbachi peppers, and triple crop, and vintage wine tomatoes. And then this is how we changed our beds. So they were going vertically, now we have them going horizontally. And I did sweet potatoes. These are purple sweet potatoes I bought from Azure Standard and sprouted them. 5 potatoes got me well over 100 plants. So the sweet potatoes there, sweet potatoes here. In the center we have sunflowers and pole beans for drying. In this row, we've got succotash, good mother stallard, and like 1500-year-old. I think that's what they called them. I'll put the names in the description. But the sunflowers are doing great. Everything's getting ready to pull up. These structures were hobbled together from all the trimmings and stuff that I got from trimming shrubs last year, because these shrubs in the other garden over here were way overgrown, and so I pruned them down by at least half. And so I had all these leftover sticks and decided I would use them here in the garden. Then we've got more sweet potatoes run down either side, and then Cherokee Trail of Tear beans, so more drying pole beans and sunflowers. And then on the back side, so I have my trap plant for squash bugs, the blue Hubbard squash. So hopefully they'll attack this one and leave everything else alone. But then got different kinds of zucchini. So we've got table acorn, the black beauty didn't germinate, so I'm going to have to plant that again, but there's plenty of time. And then the yellow straight neck squash, and then casorda squash, and these are two casorda, and then this one's a white zucchini. And then along here, I did plant marigolds to kind of help, and nasturtiums to hopefully help with the pest problem. And then in between, we've got carrots coming up that I'd seeded last year that germinated, and it makes me really happy. And then dark purple opal basil. Then down the trellises here, I did squash. So on this side, there's sweet dumpling, sweet meat, and butternut squash, along with autumn zebra pole beans and purple potted pole beans. Those are the ones that are twining along the sides. And then on this side, I think I did some red ripper cowpeas here. Then cucumbers, so the Bait Alpha cucumbers, the Marketmore cucumbers, and then Boston pickling cucumbers. I mean, check this out. I planted them 2.5 weeks ago maybe, and it's already about 5 feet tall or taller. This is fabulous. Then we've got bumblebee mixed tomatoes, Black Beauty tomatoes, Marion tomatoes, and then Matt's wild cherry, and then some of the leftovers. I mean, I still have this many sweet potato slips left. So we didn't harvest the asparagus this year because you're supposed to give it a year off. And then underneath we planted Amsterdam cutting celery, because it does get quite a bit of shade in this spot. And it will, especially with the tomatoes when they get bigger. Then along here I planted, we planted Jarradale squash, the Cinderella squash, kabocha squash, and at the very end, sweet meat, and then contender green beans, bush beans, all down here. Then regular yams and regular sweet potatoes, Moon and Star watermelon, and then red ripper cowpeas so they can climb up. These sunflowers are already over 7 feet tall, which may be a problem. Hopefully not, because midday and afternoon they won't block this corn. And this is ambrosia corn. It's a hybrid. And then down here there's Musty Provence squash, and then black Vegeta squash, and a crimson sweet watermelon, and then the red ripper cowpeas go all the way around. And then over here, right here was Long Island cheese, and then this was a crimson sweet watermelon, and then black futsu squash, jumbo banana squash. The other one didn't germinate. And then at the end it's delicata squash over here. Then another Moon and Stars watermelon. And then Howden pumpkins and Boston marrow. That one has already, the first, I planted two. The first one already succumbed to squash bugs. And then Tennessee sweet potato squash and another crimson sweet watermelon. And then the squash bugs did get the other blue Hubbard squash that was here. So then in this bed, all the peppers on this side are shishito peppers. And there's some basil and marigolds. There's striped Roma tomatoes and Paul Robeson tomatoes. Then these tall telephone, oh no, these are Oregon Giant. And these are tall telephone. Or no, Cascadia Snap. These are tall telephone. And I needed to save them for the seeds because I ran out this year. And I want to have plenty next year. Then zinnias, black strawberry, black crim, black beauty, black from Tula, and black strawberry. I wanted the black strawberries to have the most sun, and so they really do get that really deep dark color. Then on this, so on this side there's more shishito peppers, and then German Johnson tomatoes, and Sunray tomatoes, and I can't remember what cherry tomato here. I put the cherry tomatoes close to the other trellises so that as they bush out they can grow up and out. Then on this side we had Rio Grande tomatoes, and almost all the peppers here died. Then Tiffin Mennonite tomatoes and some blue cream berry cherry tomatoes. There's some more of those on this side. Then there's hot wax peppers and jalapeno peppers. And then Opalka tomatoes, Cherokee purple tomatoes, and Hungarian heart. Opalka tomatoes, Cherokee purple tomatoes, and Hungarian heart tomatoes, and then some more blue cream berries. And here there's golden nugget tomatoes, Rutgers tomatoes, giant Marconi peppers, and at the end, I'm pretty sure that's a Matt's wild cherry. And then on this side, there's the San Marzano tomatoes and the Roma tomatoes. And then the peppers are Jimmy Nardello peppers. So this is kind of like the Italian bed because it's the Marconi peppers, then the Jimmy Nardello peppers, and then all the sauce, the thicker tomatoes. Then I also have some Anaheim chilies here. And then this bed has all the Amish paste tomatoes in it. And then this whole bed is Cubanelle peppers, except for this one right here at the end is a purple cayenne pepper. And I think these ones are Marion tomatoes, which are like a hybrid. Then the Amish paste tomatoes and Sweetheart cherry tomatoes on either side because they're my daughter's favorite. The ones that really survived the winter was an Einset, Reliance, Canadice, and a Concord over here. And then the farmhouse garden. So we've got kale along here. The eggplants have pretty much died out. I've given up on them. Then Black Magic kale with a couple of rutabagas in between. And then we planted purple potted pole beans around the center, I think. I have to check. Either that or Mayflower beans, but pole beans because it's hard to get in there and get out green beans, fresh green beans, and then scarlet kale and 1,000-head kale, and then some more bush beans, but I think these ones are, I think they are contender bush beans. And then there's a few leftover sweet bell peppers that I had that I just plopped in between up here. This agastaki is so pretty, and the butterflies, love it. The sunchokes are getting big. The mullion's huge. I've already harvested some off of it. And then the elderberry that I thought was dead over here has come back. So we've got that. And then the gooseberries, some more sunchokes, elderberries. These trees are really struggling. And then I planted some winter squash. I'm not hopeful that they'll actually put out anything, but at least be a ground cover. And then some more bush beans and some more elderberries. This one's about 5 feet tall now. Sunchokes, sunflowers, and then I did Blue Lake pole beans at the base so they can climb up the sunflowers. Our potatoes have never done so well, and we just did Ruth Stout under the mulch. I need to put another layer of straw mulch down, and I think they'll keep going because only 1 or 2 of them has bloomed to this point. Then rutabagas and some Scotch kale. But these rutabagas are enormous. I think I'm gonna have to make a slaw or something out of them. The spinach is done and gone to seed, but I left it for the pollinators. The same with these carrots. I want to save these carrot seeds because carrot seeds tend to lose their germination really quickly, and these ones have already acclimated to this climate, so I really want to keep them this year. Some more pole beans around the base and parsnips in the center because they can take a little bit of shade. The broccoli, I didn't have the heart to pull this volunteer rutabaga out, and so it stayed. Then this red garnet mustard has gone to seed, and I'm going to save the seeds off of it and give the rest to the chickens. Sorry, I had to stop and kill some June bugs because they were doing their business on the plants. Some more bush beans. This bed has so many weeds because it had so much stuff already growing in it. I didn't mulch it as heavily. So I do need to come in here with a hoe and hoe the weeds and lay down another layer of mulch. More rutabagas. This broccoli is past its prime, so I think I'm going to leave it and collect seeds from it. And then more bush beans. Then the onions around here, they were getting so tall. I left these ones for seeds because they too have a really short germination. So just like carrots, onions have a really short germination life. They decrease in their potency over time. And so I left these ones to collect seed, but the rest of them, the kids came through and chopped the tops for me, and we dehydrated them and made a green onion powder so that we can season our food and marinades and stuff with that. Then we've got some leeks and green beans, more green beans, some Savoy cabbage, some late flat Dutch cabbage, a red acre cabbage. Oh, maybe there's 2 over there. Some more green beans, and then more pole beans for drying, carrots, and then over here, we didn't get out here to get them harvested before the heat really set in. We got heat really, they were fine the other day, and they just snapped. So these ones, we'll pull them off the pods and shell them. And if they're good, we'll freeze them. If not, we'll keep them for growing next year. The horseradish is doing lovely. And then these potatoes over here, I just had one left over, so I just stuck it in the ground. The valerian is flowering. It makes me all happy. The berries are doing well. And then I can't remember what this is, but I'm pretty sure this is Joe Pye weed. And more blackberries, mystery flowers. Everything in this end dies because the cats do their business here. The comfrey, I thought, had died, but it is doing really well. So I'm going to chop it and start making comfrey compost tea for the garden. And that's about it, because this is a lost cause because the cats use it. So I need to give them a space so they leave the rest of the garden alone, I guess. But in that, aren't these apple blossom snapdragons just lovely? And then these I saved from seed from Utah. It's a chocolate daisy. It smells like chocolate. It's delightful. And then one of the hollyhocks survived. Hey, Bumble. He's huge. Thanks for joining me in the garden today. Have a beautiful day.